The average car costs $652 a year to maintain. One brand on this list costs $441. Another costs $1,174, almost triple, and its owners visit the shop twice as often as everyone else. Consumer Reports surveyed 380,000 actual owners about breakdowns and repair bills with no marketing involved. One company's profit dropped 70% in a single year. Another scored so low that Consumer Reports ranked it dead last for the third year in a row. I'm counting down the 9 worst car brands of 2026, plus 2 at the end that prove some companies still build cars that last. Number 1's parent company is falling apart, and every car they sell carries that weight. Let's go. Number 9, Volkswagen. VW looks affordable on the sticker, and then the bills start showing up. RepairPal puts Volkswagen at $676 a year in maintenance, which is only $24 above the industry average. That number sounds fine until you see where J.D. Power ranked them. 30th out of 30 brands, dead last. Consumer Reports has VW at 16th out of the brands they track, which is below average but not terrible. That gap between those two rankings is where the trouble lives. The cars hold up fine on basic maintenance, but when something breaks, the repairs are expensive and the problems stack. The turbo 4-cylinder they put in almost everything is the biggest source of shop visits. The Tiguan lands last out of 26 compact SUVs on RepairPal at $730 a year. A Honda CR-V doing the same job costs $407. That's $323 less every single year on a car that starts at the same price. VW isn't the most expensive brand on this list, but the difference between the sticker and the repair bills is wider than most people expect. At least with VW, the problems are predictable. Ford can't even promise you that. Number 8, Ford. Ford's problem isn't one bad engine or one broken model. It's that you never know which Ford you're getting. Some run 200,000 miles without a problem. Others need warranty work before the first oil change. Ford averages $775 a year on RepairPal, and 15% of all Ford repairs turn into something serious, compared to 12% for the industry. That gap means Ford owners face more expensive surprises than the average car buyer. The Focus and Fiesta had a transmission so bad it triggered one of the biggest lawsuits in car history, and both are off the market now. The EcoBoost engines leak coolant and blow head gaskets once the miles add up, and the Explorer's 10-speed keeps jumping between gears with shifts the dealer can't fix. The F155 V8 is the one bright spot because the engine has a long track record. But the rest of the lineup ranges from perfectly fine to genuinely broken, and you won't know which one you got until the warranty tells you. That inconsistency is why Ford sits here. You'd think spending twice the money on a luxury brand would at least buy you consistency, but it doesn't. Number 7, Mercedes-Benz. This one surprised me. Mercedes is the brand people buy when they think luxury means reliability. Consumer Reports ranked Mercedes 19th overall, which is below average and lower than Hyundai, Kia, and Tesla. RepairPal scored them 3 out of 5, ranking 27th out of 32 car brands, and maintenance runs $908 a year. That's $256 more per year than the industry average, and you're already paying tens of thousands more for the car to begin with. Meanwhile, BMW sits at 5th on Consumer Reports as the most reliable European brand for 2026, with every model scoring average or better. Same country, same segment, completely different results, and Mercedes owners are paying the premium and getting below average reliability in return. The C-Class and GLC have been recalled for fire risks, fuel pump failures, and software problems. If you want German luxury that actually holds up, BMW is the one that earned it in 2026. The brand is running on reputation alone, and the numbers say that reputation is years out of date. Mercedes has one thing going for it though: a dealer on every corner. Mitsubishi can't even say that. Number 6, Mitsubishi. Consumer Reports doesn't even have enough data to rank Mitsubishi because not enough owners responded to the survey. When the biggest car survey in America can't collect a big enough sample to score your brand, that tells you everything about how many people are buying your cars. Mitsubishi stayed alive by merging with Nissan and Renault. and that alliance is under pressure. Dealers have been closing across the country. The Outlander improved with the 2022 redesign, but the Mirage and Eclipse Cross sit at the bottom of their segments. Mitsubishi still offers a 10-year warranty on the engine and transmission, which is generous. But a warranty is only useful if there's a dealer close enough to honor it, and in a growing number of areas, there isn't. A Kia Sportage sits in the same price range with a dealer network 5 times bigger and the backing of a company that's actually growing. Mitsubishi's problem is that they barely sell enough cars to stay in the conversation. GM has the opposite problem. They sell millions of cars with the same engine, and that engine has been giving shops steady work since 2018. Number 5. General Motors. Chevrolet, GMC, Buick, and Cadillac all roll under the same roof, and Consumer Reports rank GMC 23rd out of the brands they track. The Chevrolet Equinox, GMC Terrain, and GMC Acadia all scored below average or well below average after their redesigns. They stopped recommending the Equinox because the 1.5-liter turbo keeps showing the same problems year after year. Oil burning, turbo failure, and electrical issues that shops have been seeing since 2018. The Bolt caught fire and GM recalled every one, eventually pulling it from the market to fix the battery. The Equinox EV is brand new from the company that just had the Bolt problem, and first-year models always carry the most risk. But here's the part that makes this frustrating. The Buick Envision scored a perfect 5 out of 5 on RepairPal, first out of 32 midsize SUVs, with maintenance at $233 a year and only a 5% chance of a severe repair. The average is 14%. GM proved they can build a reliable car. They just don't do it across the lineup, and the distance between what they can build and what most people actually buy is where owners get burned. The top 4 is where the real money disappears. If any of these brands cost you money, the top 4 is where it gets worse. One charges luxury prices with fewer than 70 service centers in the entire country. Another costs $1,174 a year just to maintain. And number 1 is a company watching its own empire collapse in real time. If that changes how you shop, subscribe. Number 4. Rivian, 14 out of 100. That's the predicted reliability score Rivian earned from Consumer Reports, the lowest of any brand they track. For context, Toyota scored 66, and even the second worst brand scored nearly double Rivian's number. The R1T has been recalled 11 times by NHTSA in just 3 years of production. Between the R1T and R1S, Rivian has sold about 135,000 vehicles total, and they run fewer than 70 service centers across the entire country. Most of those are in California, the Northeast, or the Upper Midwest. If you live anywhere outside those areas, you're relying on mobile service or a flatbed. Tesla climbed from 17th to 9th on Consumer Reports this year by fixing problems across their lineup over multiple model years. Rivian could follow that same path, and the updated models that arrived in 2025 already show real improvement. But right now, buying a Rivian means paying luxury prices to help a startup find its problems. And that's a trade-off you should walk into with your eyes open. Rivian at least has the excuse of being new. The brand at number 3 has been around for decades and still hasn't figured out how to build a car that stays out of the shop. Number 3. Land Rover. Owning a Land Rover costs $1,174 a year on RepairPal, which is nearly triple the $441 that Toyota charges and $522 more than the industry average every single year you own the car. The brand scored 2.5 out of 5, and Land Rover owners visit the shop almost twice as often as the average car owner. 16% of those visits turn into a severe repair, compared to 12% across the industry. So you're not just going to the shop more often, but paying more when you get there. That's why Consumer Reports ranks Land Rover in the bottom 5 overall. The Range Rover scores 2 out of 5 at $1,258 a year. A Lexus GX goes everywhere a Range Rover does, scores higher on every reliability ranking, and costs roughly half as much to own per year. Mechanics who work on both will tell you the same thing. The Land Rover looks better in the parking lot, and the Lexus looks better on the repair bill. If you must have one, lease it and walk away clean before the warranty runs out. People who buy a Land Rover know it's expensive going in. Jeep costs less and somehow scores worse than anything else on the market. Number 2. Jeep. Jeep has finished dead last on Consumer Reports' overall brand report card for 3 years running, and reliability is only part of the story. Jeep came in last for road tests, last for owner satisfaction, and last for reliability too. No other brand in the survey came close to finishing that low across the board. The Grand Cherokee plug-in hybrid is among the least reliable vehicles in the entire 2026 survey. The Compass and Renegade both use a 9-speed transmission that can't find the right gear in city driving, and the interiors feel a decade behind a Mazda CX-50 at the same price. The Wrangler holds its value because of the brand loyalty, but loyalty doesn't change the numbers. A Toyota 4Runner goes off-road all day, holds its value, and doesn't rank last in anything. If you're cross-shopping those two right now, one has a track record that gets stronger with every survey and the other keeps setting new lows. When a brand can't beat anyone in anything Consumer Reports measures, it means owners aren't just dealing with breakdowns, they don't enjoy driving the car even when it works. Jeep's problems run deeper than any single model because the company behind them is the real story. And that company is number 1. Share this with someone who's about to sign for a new car. Every dollar figure you just heard traces back to the company at number 1. Number 1. Stellantis. Stellantis owns Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge, Ram, Alfa Romeo, and Fiat. In 2024, their profit dropped 70%, from 18.6 billion euros to 5.5 billion, and revenue fell 17%. CEO Carlos Tavares resigned in December and the company still hasn't named a replacement. Chrysler has one model left on the market. Dodge killed the Charger and Challenger, brought back an electric version, and watched buyers walk past it, so two of Stellantis' biggest American brands are barely functioning. Alfa Romeo barely sells enough cars to register on any reliability study, and Fiat is essentially gone from the United States. Consumer Reports ranks Chrysler 22nd, Jeep 24th, and Ram 25th. Every Stellantis brand that Consumer Reports can evaluate sits in the bottom third of the industry. When a company is cutting costs to survive, you see it in the build quality. Parts don't fit as well. Corners get cut. Warranty claims get scrutinized harder. And the people on the assembly line who know their jobs are at risk aren't building with the same focus they had 5 years ago. The Ram 1500 with the proven 5.7 V8 is the one Stellantis product with a long enough track record to trust. Everything else is a bet on a company that's running out of room to make mistakes. When the company behind your car can't keep its own house standing, your car carries that weight every mile you drive it. Now the brands that 380,000 owners actually trust. Toyota topped Consumer Reports reliability rankings for 2026 with a score of 66, the highest of any brand and their first number 1 finish since 2022. Maintenance costs $441 a year on RepairPal, which is $211 less than the average car, nearly $300 less than Ford, and $733 less than Land Rover every single year. The Camry, RAV4, Highlander, and 4Runner all rank at or above average, and 6 Toyota models appeared among the 10 most reliable cars in the entire survey. The hybrid system has been the most reliable technology in the industry for over a decade, and mechanics see Toyotas past 300,000 miles still running on original parts and original hybrid batteries. Lexus builds on the same Toyota engineering but wraps it in a quieter cabin with better materials. Consumer Reports ranked Lexus 3rd overall with a score of 60, and maintenance sits at $524 a year. While Mercedes charges $908 and Land Rover charges $1,174. Lexus gives you luxury that doesn't quietly punish you for keeping the car. After 9 brands that take your money and hand you problems, Lexus hands you the keys and gets out of the way. Send this to anyone about to walk into a dealership. Every video on what to buy and what to skip is right here on the playlist.